Let's start. Let me share my screen. So last week, what we have seen is like how we can write RTK queries using using Redux Toolkit. So we are going to see how we are how we can perform the CRUD operations using RTK query and what are the advantages of using this RTK query. So let me open the service again. So here we have only one endpoint. We have defined only one endpoint to fetch user. So I'm going to add couple of endpoints, couple of mutations. So to retrieve, we normally use builder.query option. The same way to perform update or modify anything in the database, we will use builder.mutation option. So here, so my co-pilot is completing the code for me. So what it is, if you see, look at the thing, again, getting the individual user, we are using query and creating the user and updating the user, it is automatically creating the mutation. For update, we can use either put or patch. So both will be supported by the uh, our our backend API. We are mimicking the JSON file and using the JSON DB server. We are using this one. So both will work. Then the same way how we are exporting the endpoint, the same way we can so we are going to update. So delete also we can delete. Now I'm going back to our component that we have rendering this the user's information. So here, not this one. So here I'm going to update the code to have the user form and add edit actions in the same table. So to do that, I'm going to copy some code and also I'm going to install some of the packages. Um, so I think already we have installed the React Bootstrap, so I can directly modify the code. So here, after the roles, I'm going to add this one. I'm copying some SVG icons. I have transformed some add, edit SVG icons to React component. And I'm going to import We are getting some type error. Fix that. Fix one by one. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to create one more component. So this is nothing but like I have added a model component from the React Bootstrap, so I don't have to style again and again. I don't want to create some create create some additional component with custom styling so that I can use them whatever Bootstrap is providing for us to style the our component. Yes. Yes, okay. For some reason it is not. Okay. Destruct this. I'm going to import the Okay, we have updated here and also the index.file. Give me a second, I will fix this error. I forget to like update the file name properly. Instead of TSX, I without extension I have created, so it is causing some error. So it is working now. So what I have done here is like I have created one component that is with like to have a bootstrap model so that we can use it as a like use in our application uh, to enter the user details. And actions is nothing but like it is a like another component to control the actions in the the model form. So here, and one more thing I have done, like I have added some, okay, I have added some actions, inline action for each row so that we can edit and delete the each user information. So I'm going to modify this one. I forgot to add the header, so I'm going to uh, update that also. One more thing, I'm going to create one more form. Inside this one, copy paste the content or I already wrote for this session. So I will explain what I have done here. So here I have created the user form. So this form will help us to like give inputs for these fields, and based on this one, like we can update. So here we have now some normal, the basic bootstrap component with the like bootstrap react components, so that we can, it is almost like transpiled to the plain bootstrap plain HTML in with the bootstrap styling. So I can show you how this will look. So I have added some fields for the user input: name, first name, last name, and age, and also for the roles. So here I'm going back to our presentation thing. I'm going to create some form to capture some form status. Okay, there are a couple of type errors, so we will fix one by one. So before that, like I can go to this one and I use a okay. So I hard coded the number, so it is causing some issues. One more thing. Okay. So So due to the time consideration, I'm copying the existing code from my for this session. So I will explain what I have done so far. So in the presentation, user presentation model, we have added like additional code to display the model based on the actions we have added. So it will be like I can show you. So when you are editing, it is not working. I will fix it. Fix that. Okay. So what I have done here is like I have added one button and I have added the each grid event. So when you are clicking something like so when you are clicking on edit or delete edit icon, so this will pre-fill the whatever the row values in the actual from the actual entries, and also like when you are clicking add user, it will create a new form to update the user. So I'm going to add some user data here. So before that, we will go through the code. So uh, like uh, so inside the user form, we have two mutation endpoints. So yeah, RTK query, this will also created as a custom hook. You can initialize like this. So this will again this hook will return two things. First is the method. Inside this method, you can you can call this method. So that will trigger the API endpoint to API endpoint, and it update the entities. So, and second parameter, you can have the same in the RTK query, you will have the object to have the read the data, sorry, to read the API call information and also the data. So here you can see the is error is loading success, and all the information that is already available in the RTK query, that is available as the value in this array. So what I have done here is so I have created a form to add and update the user, as well as the what do you call so here we can update one user, see what will happen. So we will go to our editor tab, see the last call. So it is success. We are able to update. So we already updated. One thing after updating, it is not like it is not reflected here because we haven't write those logic. Either we can refresh this page and we can check whether okay. So yeah, it is adding some custom ID for us, so we can see this one and created it and updated. We are not passed in the actual payload, and it is not actual DB. We are mimicking some API here. So that is why we are not saying the created and updated, not updated here. So like we have added the user, but this is not reflected here. So either we can do here, you can go here, and after adding the user and updating the user, you can define you can tell the component, the parent component, here something is changed, and you can fetch the user's endpoint again, so that it will be like a trigger. But that is kind of again this is not in the we are doing some changes in the this component. The parent component for this one is the user presentation component, and in the presentation component we are not actually calling the query. So here again we are calling the query from another container component. So we have to pass some callbacks, and we have to tell the container component that is something is changed in the entities. So you have to refetch. But RTK provides some other mechanism so that it will automatically refetch. To do that, we have to there is a concept called providing tags for the uh, entities. So we have to slightly modify this code. So far, any questions so far? Okay. So instead of like manually, we have two options. Either we have to call this API endpoint, something is changed, and calling the refetch again. So forget about. I'm not close. I haven't closed the the form. Once we are saving here, I have to close this one. So we will close the. We can write those logic later. So we will see how whenever we are adding or editing an identity, how the refetch we can automatically refetch the tell the information to the RTK state management. Something is changed and you have to refetch that if it is the data is already used by any of the component. To do that, we can providing some tags here. Here, this is an option. So we like whenever we are getting the result, we are iterating the result, and we are telling that this is the type of user, and we are like uniquely like passing the ID as the identifier for the each item, so that the RTK query will have the references of these like the data behind the scenes, and whenever there is a change, right? Like whenever we are mutating or we are doing some DB operation using our API. So it will tell this data is already like is changed, and if there is if data is mentioned or used by the component, and it will trigger the API endpoint for us automatically. So we have added in the get user the same way in the create user, we have to tell what is updated, what is the type of entity we have updated. So invalidate, okay, yeah. Now we can add here. We will see what is happening here. So earlier we have 4 data. I'm going to submit this one. So if you look at the grid, it is automatic, this is the data we have trying to add. So once we add, if you look at the screen, this is already fetched. We called only this endpoint. For example, if you look at the network tab, this is the last endpoint we triggered after manually triggered after our changes, like after updating, adding one item. So this is the thing. Second thing, we are posting, we are creating some creating a new user. And third thing, this is the URL. Again, it is fetched, but we haven't wrote any logic for this automatic fetching. Only thing what we have done, we are whenever we are retrieving the user, we are sending the information. So this is the type of user. Type of user is you can name it anything, but for understanding, easy understanding, we are this is a user information. So we can defining that this is the user type, and we are normalizing this data using the ID. So it is uniquely identified by the ID field. So can we use any other data here? Basically, we have to use the unique identifier for the each row so that it will work. And if data is empty, then we are telling just this is the type of user only. And in the add user, whenever we are updating, we are telling you have to invalidate this one, because we have added one more entry to the entity, so that the Redux will check for the same type. So if there is a type already in the memory or already in the Redux information, so that it will be check what is the data it is already used by the component, or what are the queries that are already used by the component. Then it will check whether the component is in currently using the data, then only it will call. For example, we are adding the user information in some other, instead of in this grid, we are adding we have some requirement to add the logic, even though we wired up something like this. So at that time, it will not trigger the API, because this data is whatever the data it is already used by the currently used by the components. So it will trigger the endpoint, trigger the query for us. So here we have defined the type equal to user. So what will happen here? The entire thing, it will invalidate everything inside this one. So sometimes we don't have to validate invalidate the entire user. So how we can do that? So in that case, we can, for example, whenever we are updating, yeah. So here I am invalidating the tag only for the particular user only. So whenever I'm making any changes, so I'm telling this is the type of entity that is updated, and what is the entity ID that I am currently updated. So I have saved, so it is again so I'm after adding one and I click the save. This, if you look at the behind the scene, then the third row, it is updated. So if I'm updating something, what is happened here, it is updated. So even though we are mentioning invalidating the particular item only, but there is no logic to we haven't written, there is no logic to retrieve the particular item. So what will happen, right? It will fetch, again fetch. So when this will be uh, like uh, 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 so when you are paginating the certain thing, right? So when this will be helpful while you are like defining a particular entity item with the entity item ID. So for example, if you have hundreds of 5 to 6 pages you have navigated and you are updating an item, right? So this will check in the particular item, particular set and particular the call, then it will automatically um, based on the query and the query ID that is already in the stored by the Redux Toolkit package. It will call the particular API and it will update. It will not call the entire page set. So here we don't have the logic to define all the pagination and thing. We have a few sample data only. So when you are checking, you can um, create some data with 50, and you can add some pagination with 10 to with the page size of 10, and you will have page numbers of 5, and you can navigate and you can check how the RTK query is fetching the data and when this will invalidating the tags, and also when this will be again the query is triggering the query. All these things, once you install this extension, you can go to the RTK query and you can track here. So after adding this one, right, we can update our code to close the form. We put await this point. Then we can call the Okay. Fine. So if you have any question, we can discuss. Otherwise, we will see the one more option, like one more option, one more option available called the create async thunk in Redux toolkit. Okay. So what is the use of Concord? So what we're using the Redux principles. So we have to pass some plain JavaScript. We have to call some plain JavaScript functions to update the mutate, like update the state in our Redux state management. So why we need Thunk? So Thunk is like usually like added to support the like server calls. So when you are making call it is asynchronous because you have to wait for server to respond for your API calls, and then again you have to update the state is like breaking the uh, passing the by updating the state using the plain JavaScript function. So they have introduced a thunk. So thunk will take care of the uh, API call, and once it is received the response from the server, it will be like update the state. So that is the usage of the thunk. It is like work in the almost exact to the Redux thunk only. Only thing it will provide some additional option. For example, whenever you are making call, if there is an already uh, for example, we have seen even though in the strict mode, our application previously without RTK query, our application trigger two times the API call because make sure the component don't have any error. It triggers all the hooks two times, the React in a strict mode. But after implementing the RTK query, even though we are running our application in the strict mode, the RTK query can take care of the API call because it is how it is tracking the each API call. If there is an already the same call is already in progress, it won't call the trigger the API call. So those logic, it is not provided in the create async thing, but you can check whether it is already there is a call. You can add some conditions and you can check and you can call like a thing. So basically, whatever it is like provided in the RTK query, it is behind the scene. RTK query is also using the async thunk mechanism. Only thing it is already written for us so that we can reuse those logic and you can avoid those kind of you don't have to write those logic. But when you are using the async thunk, you have to implement all the logic, whatever that is already in the RTK query. And the same way, whenever you are calling using this function, it will be like giving you the status like fulfilled, rejected, or is in progress. So what I will suggest here is whenever you are writing, like you can still, it is useful if you are not using the React as a, like a UI library, but you are still using the Redux for the state management in your app, front end app. You can go ahead and use this async thunk. That is perfectly fine. But if you are using the React, go with like RTK query implementation. And suppose you want to like still use the get user query, and you don't want to trigger the use get you like the trigger the query without for some at least some option. Either you can pass some variable to the the query calling, or you can use lazy get user query. There's one more option. It will be like work as a like you can trigger this whenever based on the condition, or based on the like event, you can trigger this endpoint using the lazy get user query. So whatever I have without like whatever the code I have added in this session, that is not added in the GitHub, but I have created one repo and I have uploaded the code till the last session. So I will upload this session code also. Before that, I can share the code. You will have the code here till the last session. So I will upload the code, whatever I have completed, so for today within an hour or two, so that you can download and you can run the code on your own. So we will have two more session. So one session, how we can use the create the for example, if you look at the thing for learning purpose, uh, this app is fine, but like for creating the client project, this is not look like this is not look. Give me a second. This is not look nice. So how we can create an enterprise grade apps using any designs, available designs like fluid designs or material designs in the next session. And the last session will be like DRY principle or DRY pattern. We can log off now, then we can see next week.